Welcome back to Apple Tree Allotment. Down here it's a really nice evening tonight, really sunny, been a bit warmer today and hasn't rained, which makes a nice change the last few days. So I've got a few jobs to do today. I went and got some more of the soil improver that we get free from the recycling centre. I got 5 boxes, one I've left at home to use around the garden, so I brought these 4 down. And I've also brought down my tray of butternut squash and pumpkin little plants that we started at home. So what the plan is to clear these 3 onion beds. So I'm going to take these out. There's some good onions in some of these. We could leave them a bit longer, get a bit bigger, but I want to get the pumpkin started. And there's some good size onions, I think. So yeah, we'll get them and they'll store at home okay. So that's okay. So yeah, so I'm going to get those 3 beds tidied up. There's a couple of rogue potatoes in there, a couple of weeds come up, clear them up, and I'm going to put a box of this in each just to top it up a little bit. These were the first beds we made. I started at this end here, did these 2, the next 2 went up this side. So these ones had in originally a bag or 2 of compost that we bought. And as you can see, it's not very high at all on this one. It's a little bit higher on the other one. So yeah, so I want to get a bit more depth in it. Obviously top up some nutrients. At some point I'll put in some more of our compost from our compost bin as well. But yeah, I just want to get a bit more soil in there. Top it up each year with a bit of goodness. Yeah, so my first job is to clear these 3 beds, weed them, and then I can get some of this topsoil in. And then we also have, so they've got our one here that's got the sweet corn and the pumpkins in. Still looking really good. I'm really happy with that. This one is going to have 2 pumpkins in to match these 2 on the left, and then it'll have sweet corn in as well. I didn't think to bring that down tonight, so I'll do that another day. I'll just leave space for it. Still got our broad beans going here, still looking really good. All sort of flopped over and stuff, but I don't think it's a big deal. They're not going to be in too much longer now. Yeah, so keep an eye on the beans on them. At the back here, we harvested this garlic. That's at home. We've got it out in a tray in the front porch, drying out, and it looks really good, some of that. Still got some in there, and I'll pull that out another day. Tomatoes, they're okay. They're alive. The ones at home now are massive and filled with foliage. So hopefully these ones will catch up. If anything, we might get some later crop out of them. You never know. It's worth a go. Our courgettes are still looking good, growing nicely. Nice little flowers starting to grow up on them. It's evening, so the flowers are all closed up. Yes, I'm happy with those. I've got 2 more courgette plants, a little bit smaller than that, which I'm semi-tempted to put in that garlic bed. We've already got 2 at home, 2 here, which is how many we had last year, and we were inundated with courgettes. But this year we've got a freezer, so I know last year we did waste quite a few that got too big, and we just couldn't eat them. We gave them away to people we knew. But I'm semi-tempted to plant a couple more. A, because the plants are good, and I've got a bit of space, and B, because we've got the freezer, we can get much better at storing it this year, and it is something we use all year round. So we'll see how many pumpkins and squash I can get in these other beds before I decide. And our potatoes are looking really good. Really happy with these ones. Our main crops are still growing away. Second earlies starting to get flowers on one side of them. So they're looking nice. And our first earlies, I think probably about 2 or 3 weeks away from starting to dig these up. I might have a little rummage in the soil, see how they're doing. Yeah, there's lots of nice flowers on them, so it's a good sign they're getting ready. Last year I sort of waited for them to start to die back a little bit. Yeah, so we'll see another couple of weeks, I reckon, and then we'll start eating those. already started eating. We've harvested lots of strawberries again tonight. The strawberries at home are doing really well, so I'm really happy with them. Yeah, so it's really nice to be eating stuff from the gardens, and obviously lettuce, and been eating baby kale from the garden at home as well. Yeah, so I guess I need to get on, and before the light starts to go, I'm going to put up these onions and then give them a little weed. So I'll show you that once I'm done. Here's my onion harvest. There's actually quite a nice little pile there. There's some really nice ones. So they're not as massive as the shop ones. They're sort of that sort of size. But there's some nice ones, and they feel nice and hard. They're not rotten or anything, most of them. Yeah, some good ones there. It's a nice, really good one. It's probably the biggest one, I think. Yeah, so that's the first time I've grown onions. I grew them from sets. So I've done pretty well. Quite a few of them disappeared, didn't make it. But it was good use of the space I put them in. Must have put them in the end of last season, end of last summer. So they've been in the ground quite a long time, but then I wouldn't have really used this for anything else. And it's just the right time to start getting the pumpkins and squash in. So yeah, so it's not wasted space, and we've got a nice little crop. Yeah, so I might look at doing that again. The same with the garlic. It's done okay. It's not amazing, but it's done okay. Certainly got some nice strong smelling bulbs out of it. So yeah, we'll enjoy those. So next up, I'm going to move these, and then I'm just going to give the beds a little weed. They're not too bad. A couple of self-set potatoes, a couple of little bits and pieces, but not much. Yeah, so I'll do that. I'll show you the beds getting the new soil improver in them. So that's all those 3 beds, nice and clear. Really easy to do with these nice no dig beds. As I say, it was all fresh compost last year, so it's not really any weed seeds or anything in it. It hasn't been disturbed at all. These 2 both had courgettes in last year, so they didn't get disturbed at all most of the year. I can't remember if that was I think we had potatoes there last year. Yeah. So yeah, so they're all nice and clean. I'm going to put the soil improver in now, one in each of these boxes, and see how that looks. Here's the 3 beds with all the soil improver in. So I decided just to put them in these 3. I put 1.5 boxes in, these 2 at the front, because they were a bit lower. Yeah, they look nice. This stuff actually looks a bit better this time. It looks much darker. Sometimes, I don't know if it's got some sort of ash in it or something like that. And might have some manure kind of products in it as well. who knows? But it seems to do quite well. I've used it a lot last year. Obviously it's got some compost in there as well, and I've added bits of our own compost in there. There's a real mix of things in there that's going to hopefully give it some good soil. Yeah, so my plan is to plant, I think I'll plant butternut squash in these two. So probably, I don't know I might do 3 plants in each because I've got quite a lot. I don't necessarily need the space in the box, ironically. I think they need the sort of depth of soil and amount of soil, but it's not like courgettes that take up the space. They trail everywhere, so they will cover these pathways all down here, make it a bit tricky later in the year. But I've got the grass down the side there, and hopefully if I can keep them trailed down here, I can come down the edges and water. This one, so I've already got 2 pumpkins in here. I might put 2 pumpkins in here as well. And then, as I said, more sweet corns going in there, and some beans. I'll plant some beans in there as well. And then the ones at the back, as I said, I'm semi-tempted to put some courgettes here. And then this one can have more pumpkins probably. Yeah, we did really well with the butternut squash last year. Took quite a while to eat through those. They're nice and big. Yeah, so I was hoping to get some more of those this year. We're growing the same butternut squash we did last year. Yeah, so I'll get those in the soil. I've planted 3 butternut squash in each of these first boxes. So we'll see how they get on size-wise. I can always pull out the middle ones if they're taking up too much space fighting. I can't remember, last year I did plant them amongst the sweet corn. I think I planted 2 like I'd done the squash, but obviously the corn was taking up a lot of the space. Yeah, so we'll see on those. Next job is these pumpkins. So I've lined them up the same as I've done these ones. So just in between the rows of corn. I'm going to get those in. I've made the decision, while I'm down here, I've got these 3 pumpkins left. And I think these are all the Bambino pumpkins, so the smaller ones. So I'm going to put in this empty bed that we harvested the garlic from. I'm going to do it today because I've got them with me. I might as well get going. And then this other garlic bed, I can decide later if I'm going to put the 2 courgette plants or the rest of the squash in. I think I've got another 3 butternut squash plants. It's either that or I might pop those up, those butternut squash ones, and keep them for a couple of weeks until I pull up the first earlies and get them over the other side. We may be inundated with squash and pumpkin, but that's never a bad thing in my book. So yeah, so I'm gonna sow these here, and obviously the advantage of these is I can plant. I might plant some beans in here. These will take quite a while to bush up anyway. So if I put some green beans down the sides, sort of little bush beans, they might have a nice little crop while we're waiting for these to get going. That might be quite nice. So yeah, I'm going to plant them here while I've got them with me, save taking them home again. And then we can sort out this other bed next week, I reckon. That's it for tonight then, down the allotment. I've just watered in the new plants, just give them a bit of a start. The rest of the allotment's pretty damp still from all the rain we've had, so I've just done the new plants, a little bit for the tomatoes, just to keep them going. Yeah, really pleased with how it's looking. It's all looking nice and clean. Lots of plans as always. Next bed to get sorted out is this one. Probably get those courgettes in there. And I want to get some more bark and I finish off this bit here and more in this area. Yeah, we'll see what we're going to do beds wise here at some point. We put a load of flowers in here the other day, though. I think there was cornflowers or a mix. So hopefully they'll all come up and look pretty. Yeah, really love how it looks. Just really nice sunlight, this sunset. Yeah, so I hope you're all doing well. Everything's growing well for you. And I'll talk to you soon.